1, 2, 3, 4.
So today we are sitting down with, by the way, Lorie, welcome to what will probably be the very first episode of the Nine Rails Arts podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So there's no pressure, but, when we're doing our 300th episode, however many years, 8 years from now, I guess if you do the math, it'll be something like that, yeah. You can go back and know that you were on the very first. So today's guest is Lorie Buckley. This is one of my favorite people in all of Ogden, particularly in the arts community, but just all together. I don't know what I would have done without you and Joel. Joel was the one that's missing too.
I know, we're missing
two
Joel.
Friends that helped me get through our Weber State degree. So Lorie Buckley is the arts coordinator for Ogden City Arts, which seems like a perfect person to talk to for this very first interview. I think the first thing that we can do is let's sort of fill people in on what it is that you do. You started your job however many years ago?
About 3 years ago,
3 years ago?
Yep, coming up
Did we
on 3
start
years.
about the same time?
You were a little bit after me, but it was...
But I do love that we both started. I started at Weber State, the arts outreach manager there, and you started yours just about that very first time. So we'll
taking
always
over.
have that.
Yes.
I think we are slowly but surely taking over.
Wonder Twins.
Yes, thank you.
Activate!
So what do you do every day?
Oh, man, the list is long. Really, it's mostly advocating for the arts and supporting arts programming within the city. So
you're pro-art.
I'm very pro
Okay,
art.
good.
Yes.
That was like the first question they asked you when you're applying it.
Do you like art?
Do you actually like art? Do you know what art is?
And that started a whole other question.
Yeah, you'd have to define it, did you?
So basically I help to administer over the public art program within the city, and we have an arts grants program that I run, and so we run the application process, the grading process, and working with the grantees on getting them their funds and collecting final reports and keeping.
So that's the most fun part of the job, right?
Oh yes,
Okay.
yes, all that paperwork.
Because I can
is-
vouch for that as well. Yeah, just when I hear the word grants, I'm just like, ooh,
Yeah,
it's so exciting.
yes. Makes your toes curl a little bit.
Yeah, but when you hear you've received one, Todd.
That part's good.
Yeah.
That
exactly.
part is good. There is a silver lining to that word grant. We have an arts advisory committee, which you both sit on, which is
Todd recently, so welcome,
yes,
Todd.
Yes, welcome.
Once I get the official approval, I'm pending.
Yes,
What's that word?
pending.
Patent pending.
You guys, that committee actually works really hard on advocating and supporting arts programming, and the committee approves and grades the grants. They approve public art. They're kind of involved and have their finger on a lot of the pulse of what is arts in Ogden, and I am very appreciative that we have such great, fantastic, active members on that committee that help me.
You're lucky to have us.
Yeah, I'm very
There's
lucky
really
to
no
have
question
you.
about that, yeah.
Pat yourselves on the back.
We're highly paid to be there.
That's clearly
So-
what lured me in. Exactly. Yeah.
There's quite a bit. My department is arts, culture, and events, and so as a department, we put on Twilight. There's Ashley Bockwalt is the special events coordinator, and she receives, I can't even tell you how many hundreds of years of special event applications that go through Ogden City, any film crew that comes through, anything that's happening, parades, things at parks. She runs through all those and has meetings with the police and fire and who needs to be there and what. It's quite a machine running and keeping things going like that. So we do Twilight, we do all the events at the amphitheater. Derek Williamson is the amphitheater coordinator, and he is fantastic. He does Monday night movies and Tunes at Noon and all the other things that happen. He works with.
And this job works for his community service hours that he has to put in each month too, so that works.
I can't defend myself.
He's just out of microphone reach, so I can say whatever I want. I think you're lucky to have Derek.
I am very lucky to have Derek. I love him to pieces.
So sort of in the hierarchy of, Ogden City, and you described it just a little bit. Try to kind of take me through that. Like, who are your bosses? Who's above their bosses? Where do you fit in?
So, Ogden City Arts is a sub-department or, I guess, an organization that exists within community and economic development. So the ACE department, which is Arts, Culture, and Events, is she is directed by Christy McBride, and she is the genius behind a lot of things that have happened around here. Twilight, for one, and everything else. She's amazing at her job and position, and I can't even.
Heard that she's a genius.
I've heard that as well.
Brandon, did you hear that
She's
as well?
fantastic.
That's the rumor.
Yeah, exactly.
And so she sits under Tom Christophilus, and he is the director of community and economic development. And so there are the big directors of the city, and Tom is one of them. And then there's like Parks and Rec, and there's a few other, and I should know these, but I don't. I think there's 8.
I think we need to post this graph.
Yes.
When we post this podcast.
This big chart of everything trickling down to me.
No,
way down there,
but being under the economic and development, in other words, arts are important.
They are.
Yeah.
They are very important to a community, and I think for a healthy and vibrant community, you really need to be focusing on the arts. It's really what makes someplace a really nice place to live.
So this is not a huge town, we're not Salt Lake City, but, you've been in position for 3 years?
Mm-hmm.
So have you seen the culture change at all in Ogden in the last 3 years as advocating more for the arts, the same for the arts? Where does it come from in this time that you've been here?
I feel like it's definitely growing. I feel like from when I've started to now, you definitely see a lot more. It's definitely more open support. You're seeing a lot more organizations jumping on, a lot more people wanting to join First Friday Art Stroll and be a part of that. When I started, I think we had, I don't want to say 14 places that were participating. Now we're up to like 26.
Which is more than 14.
Which is more
in
than
the First
14.
Friday Art Stroll.
In the
Yeah.
First Friday Art
Yeah.
Stroll. And there's so many people, there's so many locations that you can't get through it in one night if you're trying to get to them all, which I think is fantastic. So you kind of have to look and see, pick and choose what you want, choose your route. And I really feel like that's bringing a lot of people up to Ogden. We're having people come up that aren't from Ogden just to see the art stroll. I get a lot of phone calls about it, like, when are you putting it up? What's happening? What's coming up for this next stroll? And so it's great. I mean, the community support around the Creative District, around just our most recent project, the Painted Streets project, was fantastic. We had so many volunteers show up to help us paint the middle, the crosswalks in the middle of the street. And so it just goes to show you, we have a huge support here in Ogden for the arts, and the people love it here. And I think it's really what's making Ogden, it's making Ogden cool. It's making it.
So there's the community aspect and the support that we get from the community, and then there's the actual city council who, that's where you can take things up through the city and get certain things passed, I guess. So what role does the city actually play in that?
Well, City Council actually plays a huge role in what we do because they actually allocate the money for the Arts Grants Program. This year they allocated $90,000, and I think it's supposed to cap at $100,000. So I don't know if it'll jump all the way to $100,000 next year, but that's quite a lot of money that they just pull right out of the budget to support the arts. And as well, everything that we do, any public art runs through them, any new programs, like any new person on the Arts Advisory Committee, all of that stuff that we're doing, they're in support of, and they're actually they've been really supportive and good, and I think they can see the value that the arts are adding to this community.
Do you know if if other cities or municipalities have reached out to Ogden. Are we to that point yet where we're being seen and some, other municipalities are reaching out saying, hey, what are you guys doing?
Actually, we've had several cities contact us, even out of state, with questions on when we did the master plan for arts and culture. Park City followed suit and are working on one. They're actually, I think, just about done. Jake McIntyre went to work for them as a consultant to help them do that. South Jordan City, a city in Oklahoma.
I think we should just bask in the fact that Park City.
End it right there. Yeah,
I'm excited about all the other locations, but I love that Park City is
reaching out to Ogden.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
I'll take that.
For information on the arts. And their main street is full of galleries.
Yes.
And shops, but I mean, there's a ton of pretty good galleries up there too. So,
yep, they were super excited about what we're doing and following suit. So,
all right. So let's talk about. You have 4 more weeks of the Twilight concert series. So let's sort of fill people in first of all on how old is the series, what's it entail, who started it, that type of thing.
Why is it better than Salt Lake's
or different?
Different. So I think Twilight's coming on its 5th year here in Ogden. It's the 4th or 5th, and I'm sorry, I'm not positive on that, but
that would be my thoughts. But
yeah, it was really small the first year, but I think we're running on it.
No, I didn't realize it was that old. I thought 3 or 4 max, but maybe 5.
It might be. I'm sorry, that could be wrong, and I'm sure people are listening and saying.
We'll look it up. We'll go back there and we'll put in 4 years.
Yeah, voice overlay. So, and I really feel like, I think what's special about Ogden's Twilight is that our venue is very conducive to a great show, and we do cap our numbers so that it can't grow bigger than it is. So it's going to be enjoyable forever. There's not going to be 100,000 people there that you're, and you're 50 feet away from, like 50 football fields away from the stage, and you can't see.
What's that number you cap at?
We cap at 7,000.
And you've already sold out.
Yes, we sold out the Shins last year, and then we sold out Sylvanesso this year.
Wow.
So,
that's awesome.
And almost sold out for the Flaming Lips. That was a big show too this year, the first one.
That was insane.
It was a great show.
What the imagery that came out of that and the photography that came out of it was something like from out of this world. What a crazy
that band,
show.
They are performers, that's for sure. It was all pizzazz, sparkle, confetti everywhere, balls. Like he was out in the audience on a purple unicorn with lights and rainbow wings.
As you do, Brandon.
That's every Friday.
Especially you're going to kick off a concert series. You're going to have a purple unicorn.
Derek had a lot of cleanup that night.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just love confetti, let me tell you.
It's so funny. I'm like adverse. We finished up our Arts in the Parks program, and I'm adverse to even like smaller pieces of paper. And I can clean that up. You're thinking smaller pieces of paper for 7,000 people and little confetti.
Well, everywhere, yes. It's super fun, let me just tell you.
Everyone had an amazing
time.
So
note to any of the bands playing, please bring as much confetti as possible to Twilight and Ogden.
But if it can be some sort of like micro confetti.
And glitter. Well, all the glitter.
Glitter's super easy to clean up. That's perfect.
Bird seed or something that just, we can just leave. I don't know.
Okay, so 4 more Twilights, including one tomorrow.
One is tomorrow. Big Wild and J Wolf will be tomorrow. And then August 2nd, we have Broken Social Scene. And then we have 2 the week of the next week. One on the 7th, that's a Tuesday, and that's Chromeo. And then on the 9th, our last one for this season will be Churches.
Okay, so what, 2 days apart? You just were like,
okay,
season. What can we do to just like... make this more impossible for Lorie. You're like, well, the auditorium is available on the 7th and the 9th.
Yep. Let's book it.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a long week, but it's it's
So what was the story on 10 shows this year? How'd that happen?
Well, so Jared from Alleged,
who we'll have to chat with at some point.
Yes, he helps us book the bands for Twilight, and this year he June was only 4 weeks. We've been having 5-week Junes, and he really wanted to expand on it. And so that's why there was 2 seasons. So there was session basically 1 and session 2. So the city, we took over the June session, the Thursdays in June, just like normal. And then he took over the second. So that's basically, we're still running the logistics of everything, the amphitheater and all of that. But he went out and found tons of sponsors and booked a really good lineup, and that's how we ended up with 10. We thought there would be a few. We didn't know for sure, and Christy came to us and was like, can you do a few extra? And we were like, yeah, we can do a few extra, and it ended up being a lot extra, but it's been great. We have a lot of people coming from we've been checking zip codes, and they're coming from all over, out of state. We have people coming down from Idaho and Wyoming, and lots of people up from Salt Lake. So it's really good for Ogden. Gets people here seeing what we're doing, and I think that a lot of them are really surprised at how nice it is here.
So Twilight started in Salt Lake.
Yes.
And at some point, I'm sure there was some discussion with, hey, what are you guys doing? And how can we do that up here in Ogden? And so what's the differences between the two? It's the same name, but it's not run by the same people.
Completely separate. Yeah. In fact, Salt Lake City Arts Council was running Twilight, and just this year they've been taking over by Broadway Media Group. And so their Twilight this year is ran by Broadway. And so I think it starts up in late August or September, their season starts.
I'm hearing the ads, so it's soon.
Yeah, it's coming up soon.
But it wasn't going to happen at all.
No, it wasn't.
A little bit later on.
It was actually a done thing. We'd heard that the Arts Council was done running it. They had not made any money and gotten a little in the red, I think, and so they were done with it. And Broadway Music Media picked it up and
which makes for a long Twilight season.
Yes.
So we're all the luckier for it, really.
Yes.
Know?
Yeah. So Ogden's makes money, or there's no problems there.
Yes, we're very careful, and we keep things on budget, and so yeah, we do okay.
Not like Scrooge McDuck money or anything.
Yeah. No, definitely not making money, but because the ticket prices are low,
mm-hmm.
and so we just enough to keep, so we can have it again next year.
And that's the goal.
Yes, that's the goal, to keep the ticket prices affordable, so our community can enjoy it, and we can have people come and visit us and make it a great...
And the quality of the musicians and artists who show up is just amazing. So for that price, it's fantastic.
The fans have been incredibly
we're very
impressed
spoiled
by your lineup, so yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Jared.
Yeah. Jared says, it's all right. All right, so it's not like you have 4 more weeks of Twilight, and then you just, easily go right into your next projects. I'm sure you're working on future projects while you're finishing up Twilight as well. So what are you working on past Twilight right now?
Right now I'm working on, so we're trying to collect nominations for Mayor's Awards in the Arts.
What's that, Lorie?
So it's another fantastic program that we have where the community members can nominate someone, an outstanding person, whether it's an arts educator, a regular visual artist, a performer, an arts advocacy person, someone who's really supportive but actually might not be an artist.
Advocacy together.
Advocacy,
Brandon.
I can't do it.
Advocacy.
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 It's one of those words that when you have a few beers, it still sounds the same, like rural.
Yes.
Rural. Advocacy.
Advocacy.
Yeah, it's the same word.
You don't even have to give me any beer. I still can't say it.
So how much longer can we submit nominations for that?
So nominations will be, the deadline is August 24th, and I believe that's a Friday. So Friday by 5 p.m. on August 24th, they are due, and we do need some more nominations. So if you know of someone who is deserving of an award from the mayor, it's a great celebration. We have an evening where there's food, and they each receive, the mayor's there, and we have music, and
it's a really great host.
Yes, an amazing host. Brandon, thank you very
much. Did you get the same guy again?
I'm hoping so.
Like, maybe we should talk about that now.
She hasn't signed the contract I sent over. Yeah. I'm asking for green M&Ms this time. Yeah.
Your contract writer is getting longer and longer.
I know.
And what are the different categories for that?
So there's quite a few. There's youth artist, arts educator, visual artist, performing artist, music, folk art,
Media.
Media arts.
and arts
saying.
advocacy and lifetime contribution. And I believe that's all of them. We don't always give all of them out. It depends on, the nominations that we get, and they are definitely poured over, and we look really hard at these people because it's quite something to receive one, to be singled out and to be recognized for the work that you're doing. So we're very careful and particular about who we're giving them to. So
Somebody made microwave popcorn.
it smells delicious, doesn't it? They need to bring it in here.
That's just me.
That's just your new
I'm wearing
flavor.
that right now. Yeah, it's very, very good. Yeah. So we have the Mayor Awards for the Arts is coming up. Anything else that we should know about?
Well, we just came out of Painted Streets, too.
Yes. Yeah, we just finished Painted Streets. And of course, the stroll is an ongoing thing. It happens, every Friday, first Friday of the month, year round. So it's always something to keep on your calendar and watch for. But we're just coming up, there's quite a few things that maybe aren't really arts related, but things that come out of this department. We have tunes at noon on Wednesdays. And it's a free concert that's in the park here that you can come listen to while you eat lunch. There's Monday
And
night
is it around
movies.
noon?
It's around noon.
Got it.
It's right about noon. Right about that time where your tummy's
It
kind of
seems
grumbling.
appropriate,
Yeah.
the tunes at noon.
Tunes
Yeah.
at noon.
There-
Is the food open? Can you get food? Well, you can go out and go over there.
Yeah,
and
the
grab those
taco
little
stands are always open. There's the bistro in the amphitheater is open, usually not at twilight because it's just there's all the other vendors in there. But if you come to Monday night movies, the bistro's open and you can get food and beer and drinks in there and stuff. So it's really good.
Brandon, we need one of these calendar systems right here.
I
like this year.
complimented her on this before and tried to reproduce it. Where in my office, it is beautiful.
We get a studio set up, and I think we need one of these as well.
Yeah.
I feel that there's things I feel kind of naughty look at it too. There's things on here that are what shouldn't I say on here? But I'm poring over it just to kind of see what's coming up.
I mean, you can see I'm a little behind on adding this stuff in, but Twilight's
It's been an impressive year so far, though.
Yeah, we've been.
She did make the choice to go horizontal with it instead of vertical,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
Probably good without a ladder. That works better.
Yeah, I don't want to be laying on the floor writing.
Yeah, instead of going January and then February's underneath it, February's to the right of January. So these are the choices when putting together calendars that you have to think about.
So I'm going to put you on the spotlight just a little bit.
Okay.
So we are artists as well as the other things that we do. So how are you able to, and I know the answer to this because we've talked about it. So how are you able to balance your own personal art practice along with your daily sort of 9 to 5 with Ogden City Arts? Like I said, I think I know the answer to this. But this is a good question for the listeners.
Gotta be honest with you, it is definitely a struggle. It really is. I had delusions of grandeur that I could work a full-time job, and this job is full-time and then some, and still have creative energy to come home after work and work on paintings or anything. And so honestly, I have to what I have to do is get someone to assign me something, so I have to do it. So I'm building some small pieces because Wasatch Roasting Company asked me to be in their highlighted artist for First Friday Arts
Deadlines
Stroll.
help.
So deadlines help. Deadlines really help because if you don't have it, you tend to go home and your brain's really tired. And I think about this, and I'm working after hours and posting, and so it's just so much.
Family, it's nice to see them.
Yes. So yeah, it is a struggle, and that's the only downfall I think about this. I love this position, but it does kind of.
That would be with any job, though. It's not even just this particular. It's any job that takes energy, as it should, and time, more importantly. And then you go home, and then it's okay, house chores, family.
Laundry, you got to mow the lawn. You got to figure out what's for dinner.
And how do I get into that creative space?
Yeah.
And create work.
Yeah, and you get in your studio. I have a studio in my basement, and I'll go down there and tinker around and stare at my blank canvas and go, it's just.
But I think holding each other accountable is good. Brandon and I have to do that, constantly because all the podcasting we do is on top of everything else that we do.
Yeah.
And so having the deadlines between the two of us definitely helps. I think you and I, Lorie, have talked about doing that, and that's definitely something we can do. And I think that, that there's probably more out there in the exact same situation as us,
We need to do.
where we kind of need to hold each other accountable, and plus just getting together, it's a constant source of inspiration.
Instead of book club, we need to have art club so that we
Yes.
have to say, okay, you have to work on something, we're going to work, and we're going to meet and look at it and talk
I
about
think
it.
there's something to be said for art club.
Yeah,
Art club, yeah.
We might have to start something new.
Let's do.
That is actually not a bad idea at all.
We just can't talk about it.
And then the night before, don't talk about
art club.
Don't talk about first rule. Don't talk about art club. And the night
this case, we
before,
want you to
we'll
talk
be
about
in
it.
panic mode, like putting something on, just like at book club. You're like, I didn't read the book. Like, shh.
Yeah,
We
you
want it to
can't
be a
fake
little
art
bit.
club.
You can't because you clearly can't do a week's
Yeah.
worth in one evening. Yeah, just a little bit every night.
Yes.
And then at the end of the week, we kind of see what the other
I
person.
like
has
that.
done.
We come with a new podcast.
I think it's actually not a bad idea.
You have to
at all.
listen
Yeah.
to that at the art club.
Art
Yep.
club.
Yeah,
Art club. Yep. There we go.
Sweet.
See, look what we've done.
As if we don't have enough to do. Yeah.
No, yeah, I know. Just tack it on. Well, just add it to my list
But I
of
think
things.
the personal practice on top of everything. I think that we're all very lucky to be working in the arts.
Yes.
I say that to every. I was talking to a new potential student today out of high school and giving him the full spiel and the full pitch as far as what he has ahead of him. And for the most part, incredibly exciting, right? But at the same time, choosing a career in arts and humanities is not going to be a straight line. There might be that one or two that is able to go straight from here to there, but for the most part, it is going to be a winding path, ups, downs, otherwise.
It is, but I feel like anymore now you actually can get a degree in the arts and have a career and do
absolutely,
something
yeah.
and which I think before, and I think that's why it's such this like taboo, like they're like, oh, you're getting an art degree, like what are you gonna be the what are you gonna do with that? Nothing. But now there are so many creative positions, and businesses are looking for creatives because that's kind of where business is going and how things are, that I feel like it's so much easier to talk to people and be like, follow your dreams. If you are a creative person and it is something that you love, go into it and you will find work. You can find work in it.
One of the biggest piece of advice that I give, and what's so nice is that I can keep them local as well, is to be as involved as they possibly can, right?
Yes.
For the students to reach outside of their bubble, to be involved as much as they can on a local level. Salt Lake is where, I'll be honest, there's a lot of go-to places there, but I like that I can say that Ogden has more and more and more. And in fact, not only do they have more and more, but as a young artist, now is a really good time to get on the sort of the ground floor of
Yes.
a lot of things that are being developed right now.
Got to network yourself, and if you're out there, you're going to find those opportunities. If you're hiding away in your studio and you're not going to. It just is.
You can't just go to class and go home.
No, you can't. You have to attend things, and that's one of the biggest things they say for visual artists. If you want your art in that gallery, you have to go to the gallery, attend their openings, talk to the gallerists, see that, so they see you all the time. It isn't just like,
If the gallerist loves cats, you're going to put a cat in one of your paintings.
that's exactly it.
It's the little things, but you have to know those things. Yeah,
If you didn't go, you wouldn't know.
exactly.
I just realized why you have so many cats in all the work that you do.
Thank you very much. Yes. One of these days, it's going to work out for me. Yeah.
Well, we have about 2 minutes left here. Lorie, who or what other cities do you look at from your position? Because Ogden's doing some awesome things, and it's fun to take some ideas from other towns that maybe have been successful in the arts in other places.
I am a big, I look outside of Utah a lot because I feel like I don't want to copy what's happening within the state because I want it to be different and cool and exciting here. So there's a place called Deep Ellum, Texas that has a huge art scene, and they have a big mural program, and it's just fantastic down there. Austin, Texas, of course, if you've ever been there and understand. Bend, Oregon, I just love little things like Freak Alley in Boise, Idaho. These little pockets of just really cool, unique things that Ogden's very unique, and we are building ourselves up as that art place, that art town that people will come to visit because of that. And I'm very proud to say that, we're well on our way to do that. And I think it's going to be great. Just keep getting better and better.
Well, we appreciate everything you do. We will continue working with you on a daily basis, which it feels like it is sometimes. Yeah. So we can't get away from you, even if we tried. So thank you so much for taking some time. This will probably not be the last time we chat with you.
Well, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed myself.
Thanks for taking some time with us.